It's been more than 2 years since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. But one of the things that we Americans tend to forget is that Ukraine's been at war since 2014, when Russia annexed the Crimea and invaded the eastern half of the country. Ukraine is quite literally on the front lines of the war for global democracy, but also in a fight for its own national sovereignty. In short, Ukraine is fighting so that hopefully the rest of the West doesn't have to, because most national security experts agree that Putin's not going to stop with Ukraine, and that autocrats like China's Xi Jinping are watching closely to see how strong Western resolve is. Xi Jinping is thinking about Taiwan when he watches how we support Ukraine. Hi, I'm Karla Jones, Senior Director of Federalism, Homeland Security, and International Relations here at the American Legislative Exchange Council.
And I'm Brooklyn Roberts, Senior Director of the Health and Human Services Task Force here at ALEC.
For the latest in our Women's History Month series, we are honored to have with us today Dinara Gabibullaeva. She's a member of the Kiev City Council. She's chairwoman of Solidarna Molod, and she's president of the European Democracy Youth Network. Welcome, Dinara.
Thank you very much. It's highly appreciated to be here, and it's so important to speak up about Ukraine right now.
Yes, it is. How long have you been with the Kiev City Council, and what made you decide that you needed to be a part of Kiev City government?
Yeah, after I moved to Kiev in 2017, of course, I started to work a lot with our party, our youth organization, on policymaking process for youth and how we can engage youth to politics. It's my real soul, because I dream to be active till I can to engage more young people to the policymaking processes in our country, because it's our future, and we can't be silent. We can be not engage in the all processes which are going on right now in Ukraine. And of course, I started to do it from earlier Maidan period, but right now it's kind of my agenda, ongoing agenda. And in 2020 I became a member of Kiev City Council, and it was my third actual elections, because in 2019 I was a candidate to the Ukrainian parliament. And it was really incredible experience that our party gave opportunity for young people to be and for young ladies, of course, to be engaged in elections, because elections, it's a kind of challenge, real challenge, to show what you can do, what you can collaborate, what you can create actually, and how you can discuss with your voters what they want, what they need, what you can do for them. And of course, I challenged a lot about their beliefs to the young people and young ladies, and all time they asked me, like, what you can do, you're so young, you can be so strong, because it's so hard to be in politics. And I felt that okay, I need to change their mind about what I can do and what I can conduct actually in my city or in like parliament. And of course I can manage to get a seat, but after just in 1 year I became a member of Kiev City Council, and I count it as a crazy experience in Corona time, because we challenged a lot, as all countries where it was really a high risk of corona infection. But it was an incredible opportunity to try what you can do in really, really strict frameworks. In my district, it's more than 200,000 people actually in my district, and we together create with them a lot of projects, and it shows that it's possible if just member of Kiev City Council is open person to have that dialogue with the voters. And I'm so happy that I was in top 10 members of Kiev City Council, which gather a high rating of votes. And it because of openness of my team, and our political campaign of our party was so strong. And I'm happy that I managed to do that. But afterwards, just in 2 years, our reality completely changed. But why I'm concretely decided to be in politics, first of all, because I felt that I can, and I want to crash all stereotypes about young people in politics, women in politics, and that we can do nothing. But nowadays, I represent like 100 times my country on international level, because our party is a full member of European People's Party. It's the biggest political party in the European Parliament, and we managed to be members of youth organization of that political party, students organization. We have a vice president of that students organization in that party. And what we managed to get, we managed to get a voice within youth of all Europe. We are creating a lot of resolutions about Ukraine and about important issues which we need to speak up.
We've cooperated a lot with the EPP EPP party at the EU Parliament. And Brooklyn, I think you had a follow-up question?
Yeah, so you've been in office in such a momentous time, and you've talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to see, how has your city changed, and what is the temperature of the people there? Or what's the mood of the people there?
Of course, I remember at the beginning of full-scale invasion, it's just empty streets, and people just were ready to bring anything what they can to protect their city, their land. And it was unforgettable moments, and I'm so happy that we not gave up, and for example in March 2022 we had a council meeting in Kiev City Council, in case that a lot of councils just got it online or canceled it, but we members of Kiev City Council decided to go. And it was so dangerous, of course, because situation in Kiev, was so bad, but we managed to change the budget and to give money to the territorial defense forces, and we showed that we are here, we stand for our land, for our city. And it was so important to show to our people that we are not somewhere, we are here. And a lot of members of Kiev City Council went to the army, to territorial defense forces from our party. It's just a high percentage of members of a lot of councils actually through all the Ukraine, all country. Yes, and I'm so happy that I'm representing that political force which are so understandable of the situation, and giving their lives actually to protect our land, and we had a lot of loss. It's so pity to sad, and within our organization and within our party, more than 70 people dead because of Russia aggression and because of the high atrocities from Russia side on the front line and within this peaceful cities. And what changed? That Ukrainians are incredibly strong, and we have two important aspects. One of them positive, and now one of them negative. Positive aspects that we trying to back to normal life. If you will come to Kiev, you even can't notice the difference. Yeah, everybody sits in the park, walking with their pets, children. You can see somebody in cafes doing the lunch with their friends. At evening, you can see that the bars are full. It looks like normal. You're trying to go to your work, you're doing your stuff, but another issue that we have the sirens, we have the alarms, we have really bad news from our city or from Odessa. For example, some days, like 3 days ago, we had a really heavy attack to Odessa city and Sumy, and a lot of really small children just died because of the Russian missiles and the Russian attack. And it's going on every day. It's nothing changed. Like we're trying to be normal, but we can't be again as before full-scale invasion because of our psychological issue, and because of what's going on again and again. If you just look up to city, it's kind of normal, but it's not, because people get used actually to the alarms and sirens, even not going to the bomb shelter or somewhere on safety place, even if you're on the high floor on a civilian building. Everybody just get used to it, and this really threat. Why? Because you could be a target of Russian missiles. Even you can sleep, and the part of the Russian missiles or drones can be just on your window. And I have a lot of friends which flats are really destroyed. But everybody get used to that, and just okay, it's crashed, I'm going to rebuild this, I'm going to ask a help, and everybody just okay, we are doing again and again. And even in case of war, a lot of entrepreneurs continue their work and trying to fulfill the gap in economy, and trying to give the job to somebody, trying to open some businesses, and it shows that we are continue to live in really heavy circumstances because of war and because of the everything what we used to live. It's not going somewhere behind. It's just our unnormality, and it looks like normal, but it's not.
Right. I had the pleasure of visiting your city back in 2019, and even then had conversations with people about soldiers returning from the then front lines with PTSD. And I can only imagine what a strain that puts on a city. And it is a credit to the strength of the Ukrainian people that businesses are still starting up, that people are living as normally as you can under wartime conditions. And I'm sure you're aware of the fight that we're having in our Congress now, where funding to support Ukraine is being held up. What would you like to say to Congress, the American people, and ALEC members about why this is important not only to Ukraine, but to America?
First of all, Russian aggression against Ukraine, it's not just a war of Ukraine and Russia. It's a war about democracy and authoritarianism and totalitarianism. It's a war between peaceful world and aggression, and therefore I felt numerous times how people said, like, okay, you're in war, but it could be just some time, and afterwards everything finished, but not if the world not united for Ukraine and for democracy, for open world, for the European and Western values, because the lives which we gave, it's a really high price for our will to be European, to be free, and not to be under Russian imperialistic regime. They stolen our history, they stolen our people, they stolen our land, they crashed a lot of lives. They tried to cancel Ukraine. They trying to do everything to say that, oh, it's not Ukraine here anymore. But I need to say that Russia never stopped. Russia never stopped on the border of Ukraine, and I need to say that we have the really dialogue with evil. It's real evil, and if we are not going to fight, if we are not going to be united for it will be a huge challenge to United States, because Russia will go further to the Baltic states, to Europe, to Poland, to Moldova, Transnistria we have. And we have a lot of issues which could be forward if we do not understand that it's our common war for free world. We will have another issues in Taiwan. We will have another conflicts and really hybrid wars against open free world, because it's just screening in Ukraine how Russia can do. Mm-hmm. Which atrocities, which missiles they can use, and just our strategic partnership with the United States and with Europe can help us to fight against evil. And it's not just world; it's a real practical cases which we faced within two years. How they managed to do in Mariupol, and you saw the movie, I hope, like 20 Days of Mariupol, and it's real stories of thousand civilian lives which gave for freedom and for democracy.
One of the things that I hear from Americans is that the United States is carrying most of the burden for the Ukraine. Can you educate our listeners on how much European countries are doing for the Ukraine?
Europe and United States, it's equal partners for Ukraine, because some countries taking part of recovery strategy, some countries taking part to help us with the military additional equipment, heavy weapons, and lobbying the Ukrainian facility for victory, and doing everything to help us and make us understand that we are a European country. We are not a part of Russian Empire. We are a European country, and we are together, and we are fighting for freedom and democracy. And for that, we are giving you the weapons, the political decisions that we are sent with Ukraine till victory, because Ukrainian victory, as I said before, it will be our common victory. It's not just our war; it's a war of the all free and Western world. Therefore, European Union, I'm so happy that they are. Like as of Ursula von der Leyen, I just came from Bucharest EPP Congress, and she said strong messages about that European Union will stand with Ukraine till victory, and we are ready to sign up the packages, additional packages of help. And nowadays, more than $80 billion European Union gave to Ukraine, and of course we will have a lot of recovery plans and additional. Ursula von der Leyen said about $50 billion package, which we will get from European Union, but. In case of that, it's just not enough. It's a war of technology, and we need a lot of heavy and highly equipped weapons, because Russia doing a lot with China, and you know that Iranian drones they are using against our cities, and you know, they have just hidden partners which are helping them. And important to have that expertise from United States, from United Kingdom, from European Union, because as I know that a lot of soldiers going to the trainings, how to manage with all that equipment and get that knowledge about that, and we can now be a part of actually defense, I don't know, agenda of all Europe. And you know that they are starting to discuss about European Commissioner of defense policy, and it's so important step, I think, to show that it's not just war in Ukraine, and we should protect all European countries actually, and we need to be prepared.
And Europe is pulling its weight. I mean, they've accepted far more refugees than the United States. Our refugee totals are in the thousands. Poland is at 3 million, and Germany is at around 1 million. And I'm so glad you brought up the Iranian drones. Also, you've got North Korean missiles. If you look at the countries with which Russia is partnering versus the countries of the West, that should tell you kind of all you need to know. Russia is getting its arms from Iran and North Korea. Europe is getting most of its arms, when it's not manufacturing them itself, from the United States. And I'm also glad you brought up the children, because we're hoping to have a Women's History Month video with a woman who's going to detail Putin's war crimes against Ukraine's children. And I know it's a difficult time for everyone in Ukraine, but since this is a Women's History Month video, do women face unique challenges, either related to the war or not, that men either don't have to deal with or rarely have to deal with?
I just would like to add about some additional challenges which we will have in case of European and American help. It's just Russian assets and how we can just manage to get the fund with that frozen Russian assets, and how we can use that money for rebuilding. And we need to lobbying that in European and United States agenda, because we should transfer their money for the recovery process. I just want to add that really important message, that it's not just about private money or something like that. I know that a lot of countries saying about that, but it's just about recovery needed process, which we need to rise up, that it's important to transfer frozen Russian assets to Ukrainian recovery process.
Thank you
It's
for making that very important point.
Yeah, thank you. And about women's role, completely changed because more than 70,000 women just went and joined to the Ukrainian army.
Mhm.
And it's really high rank. And before that, we actually have not Ukrainian women uniforms, like for the women who decided to join army. We have not that standards for women, but we managed a lot. And the member of parliament from our party create Armed Women Now project, which are doing uniforms for women and pregnant women which are in army, and now they get the certificate of the women uniform standards with our Ministry of Defense. And now it's just a one step further for the European actual standards. And it's important that for the civilian women changed a lot, because after their husbands or like brothers or fathers went to the army, they need to take in responsibility of everything, of their houses, of their children, of their work. Ukrainian women nowadays need to do more. Plus to that, like mostly Ukrainian women are doing something in volunteering to help them, their husband or like brother or somebody who they know who are serving right now in the army. Therefore, like Ukrainian women right now, it's so multifunctional person which are doing everything, and it's a really heavy task for our shoulder, because even if Ukrainian women with the children abroad and they are the persons, displaced persons, but can you imagine to focus on daily life of their children, like schools or like some another issues, but they need to think about, of course, Ukraine and their husband, or and it's so heavy task as I felt. And for young Ukrainian women, of course, as well, like it's you just need to do a little bit more than before, because less men right now in our area, and we need to get a job which we never have done actually. And it's so important that Ukrainian women just became much more stronger than before. And a lot of women with the children just stayed in country, and they are going to bomb shelter with their small children. They are at the morning going to the work, and afterwards they are going to volunteering to some headquarter of volunteers, or sending the money for the front line, or they are doing something with the their elder parents, and etc., etc. It's nowadays it's the multitask job for Ukrainian women, and I need to say that it's so challenging and it's so psychologically hard to be in the center of everything what's going on right
Right.
now in Ukraine.
It is a difficult time for both women and men. But thank you for speaking to some of the unique difficulties that women are facing.
It's so important not to be afraid of Russia. It's so important to be brave, to have that braveness to stand for the values which just was on the agenda when our soldiers just died on the front line. And maybe you saw the pictures from Bucha, and you saw the pictures of heavy atrocities
Oh,
and
yeah.
wildness of Russian army. And maybe you saw that on the one hand of killed person were the small pin of the European Union flag. We are Europeans, we are
Right.
Western people, and it's so important to understand that we are fighting against propaganda which were centuries put up in the mind of European people and American people that they are the greatest empire which were really strong. Not anymore. Ukrainians just showed that we can fight on our land for our European and Western future. And one thing what we need, united position and strong political and civic alliance to lobbying more weapon and more heavy weapon for Ukraine, and it should not just went out from agenda or like in media, in social media, in a daily life of Europeans or Americans, because I understand that it's so difficult to hear all every day that some money went to Ukraine, but if not us, Russia will be in European Union, and it will be a huge challenge to all democratic world, and it should be a huge disaster. Therefore, we just right now as a wall, or like actually bloody wall of Ukrainian children, Ukrainian soldiers, Ukrainian women, which stand for just protect all democratic and Western world. And
Right.
it's going all day, like every day we faced with that, and nothing changed. Just we are so strong to trying to live normal life. But
Right. And
it's
to the point of being part of the West, NATO, the Ukrainian constitution even writes NATO accession into it. So,
NATO and EU, it's our strategic way, and Mr. Poroshenko like decided and promote that that to put in a Ukrainian constitution, and we are fighting just for our identity.
right.
Ukrainians who are Europeans, and we never have been a part of Russian empire mentally, because Russian propaganda trying to say that Kiev and Rus their heritage historical, but it's not,
That
and
can be
we
a
need.
follow-up video where we can talk about Russian atrocities against, well, Russian propaganda, but also some of the Russian and Soviet atrocities against Ukraine. I wanted to thank you, Dinara, thank the Ukrainian people for your courage. And I also wanted to thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. With so many other conflicts taking place around the world, it seems like I worry that the world is forgetting about Ukraine. And that's why it was so important for me, for ALEC, to record this video.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking that important issues to agenda, because as I said before, our victory will be our common victory, and I have no doubts that we will have a victory. That's just one question: how much and how high price we need to pay for that victory? And it depends on the united position of all Western world.
Right. No, that's a great way. That's an important note on which to end the video. And Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава!
Хорошо.